Compared to other medications that, have been on the market for quite some time that people have been taking for years and basically need to stay on it. It's not going to change your brain. It's going
Yeah.
to help you while you are on it. What's the difference between ketamine and some of those?
Well, we don't know yet. And again, it's a matter of dosing. If a person is on a little bit of Paxil or Prozac every day, and that's keeping them from having suicidal thoughts and keeping them functioning in their job, they're not having a mood alteration from taking the pill. In other words, the pill is working later on in the brain, a
Mhm.
period of hours after they take it, working on the neurotransmitter levels. So it really is trying to correct something that's not working.
Mhm.
With ketamine, there's speculation that it's creating new neural transmitters and creating new neural pathways. I think we're still speculating about
Mhm.
that. I don't know how solid the science is on that.
Yeah.
And you're getting a mood alteration. So basically people are feeling high. And if the dose is big enough, they're basically knocking themselves out into this extreme dissociative state, which in some cases can be scary, and in other cases they've stopped breathing.
Yeah.
So this is it's very different from something like an antidepressant. It's
Yeah.
very, very
I mean,
dangerous.
are the terms that are being used on this, like you said, where it's creating new neural pathways, and you hear
Yeah,
things like that, you're like, "Ooh,
yeah.
wow." Is that
Sounds
also? I
good.
mean,
Sounds great.
is it
Yeah.
also to the level of credibility as drink this juice and the toxins will come out of your body? I mean, is it?
That's my
Yeah.
concern,
Mhm.
that we're using a lot of sciencey words, and maybe there have been a few small studies. Have there been large, really well done scientific studies to say, we know that this is benefiting for certain, that the benefits are holding up over time, and we're not just letting people get high with
Mhm.
something that perhaps alters their mood in a positive way during the hours that it's still actively in their system. But ketamine clears out of the system pretty fast, as I understand it.
Mhm.
And that's why it's used as an anesthetic in the operating room, because people can go under, they're unconscious. And then when the surgery's done, they stop the dosing and they clear up really quickly.
Yeah.
I had a surgery a couple weeks ago. I think I got some ketamine
Mhm.
along with a mixture of a couple other drugs. I read my records
Yeah.
and I was fine, came out and I was absolutely fine.
Sure.
But that's the difference between when you have a physician administering something that's well understood and has been used for years, or having a box of lozenges at home that you're supposed to take one and you decide you like to get high, so you take 10.
Yeah.
There's a real big difference
Yeah.
with how we're administering
I
this.
mean, is it helping anyone? I mean, I'm sure people can argue both ways on this to a certain extent, but I mean, at the end of the day, you got to think long term, and I feel like
Yeah.
so many people are singly operating on short term because they need that fix because they need it because life is difficult as it is,
Yeah.
and people seem to be more on. I don't- Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there's more of a kick these days of let's check out, not death, but
Yeah.
like let's mentally check out. If it's whether it's smoking weed or alcohol,
Yeah.
or I mean, I think weed's obviously gotten pretty big. I'm a user of it. I'm not saying it's bad, but yeah, it certainly kind of checks you out a little bit if you want to just kind of calm
Yeah.
down and not
Yeah.
worry about it, and it's less harmful than alcohol, I think I can argue, or most can argue. But
Yeah.
if there's another thing out there, and there's always other things out there that can do that same sort of thing, is it kind of a product of where we're at today, where people have just really made a habit regularly of checking out because of the
Yeah.
stresses of the world, rather than
Yeah.
finding healthy ways of dealing with them?
I think you're right. I think humans have probably always looked for substances to alter their
Hmm.
consciousness. Life has just always been hard, even back in the caveman days. Life
Sure.
was hard. So people have always been looking for ways to feel less stress. But what we've seen with cannabis, and I had a brain tumor about a decade ago and had some severe pain issues going on from that. And I was using legal cannabis at the time for medical purposes, for
Hmm.
pain control. So I'm
Yeah.
not anti cannabis at
Hmm.
all. But are there people who become psychologically dependent on it to the point that it harms them?
Hmm.
Yes, there are. And it's only maybe 10 to 15% of cannabis users. But I've got lots of friends who are using cannabis, and if they're only using it for sleep, it's helping them. If they're using it occasionally on the weekends, it's fine. It's not causing harm. But if there are some people who are smoking, basically taking breaks at work all day long,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't want your brain surgeon doing that,
Hmm.
and it does impair driving. So I think with all this stuff, this is one of the things I try to work with people in therapy on is really looking at what is your baseline mood state. And if your mood is really that disturbed that you're feeling throughout the day, you need to smoke some dope, or you need to take ketamine every night, or you're just, in bad shape. It's like we need to look at some that are going on in your life,
Mhm.
what needs to change, how can you develop problem solving skills here, what are some healthy activities, whether it's, horseback riding or kayaking or hiking, other kinds of things you can do that are giving you healthy coping mechanisms so that you don't need this mood alteration all the time.
Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.